welcome to this review of Gateron Type-R switches and this Keychron Q6 Ultra keyboard. If you're up for a fun game, take a shot whenever I use the words tactility or tactile in this review. The keyboard was another donation from Keychron. They've sent me quite a bit of stuff over the years, which makes sense as they have a massive keyboard catalogue. I've previously shown another Q6, this one, which I tested with Novel Keys cream clicky switches at the time, now removed as you can see, which I thought was a nice 2-for-1 in a review, so I decided to do the same thing this time because I've already tested Keychron's stock switches before, and this keyboard is pretty similar to their previous ones, so adding a new switch type made sense to pad out the review a bit. In this case, I chose to do Gateron Type-R, which were a donation from KBD fans, and they're going to be taking the center stage a bit more during this review. These have been requested by a bunch of viewers as they are supposedly a rather interesting tactile switch, which almost seems like a contradiction in terms for modern switches, so this definitely piqued my interest. So let's do the board first, and I'll be pretty quick about it because it's very similar to several boards I've already reviewed. Thankfully enough, though, this at least is a full size, because sometimes all the small boards getting piled on me do get frustrating, but this one is a proper keyboard right here, and by full size, I do mean a 100% one, not one of those 98% thingies that are so popular nowadays, just a good old-fashioned layout the way IBM intended it. This one is from their Q series, which is their full metal premium build where they go for the top of the line. So the case is solid aluminium and then double gasketed and yada yada yada. It's basically a metal brick with keys stuck in it. And at 2.2 kilos, it's the same weight as the Model M2. This version has been updated with wireless capability, which the normal Q6 didn't have, at 8 kHz polling rate in both wireless and wired modes, though I'm not sure it does over Bluetooth as well. So basically this is an updated version of the original Q6. It's available in two color schemes, white, kinda, and this black with blue accents, which is pretty kick-ass if you ask me. The grey colour scheme the original had isn't available on this model, and you can get the switches in 3 flavours, red, brown and banana, which are fine but boring, hence why I swapped them out for something more interesting for this review. The keycaps are the usual spherical double-shot PVT ones. These are excellent, I really like these keycaps. The print is a little bit small, but it looks pretty stylish. Unlike many other companies, they didn't make the mistake of going for those cyber fonts like Razer or Corsair use, because those are absolutely hideous! It's $240 and only available as a full kit. You can't get a bare bones version of this. I think it's a pretty good keyboard. It's on the expensive side, but their Q series is quite solid, so maybe it's worth it if you can live without analog actuation. I must say though that the price of great Hall effect keyboards nowadays is so low that I think $240 is a bit much to ask for this, but if you're into tactile or clicky switches, then this is a pretty good semi-starter chassis. Next, let's get to the switches, the Type-Rs, which are a tactile switch collaboration between Sillyworks and Gateron. These are visually very obvious to make out because of their rather striking red color scheme, which is a nice refresher compared to the million billion other MX clones out there, which I can't even tell apart by now. By the way, another uncommon thing these switches have is the fact that their LED slot is completely closed off. That doesn't happen that often anymore nowadays. The thing that drew my attention to these switches was the claim that these are 100% tactile, which, as it turns out, is not the same as what I mean by 100% tactile. For years, I've defined percentiles of tactility as the relative amount of force that is lost during the tactile bump. So, for example, Cherry MX Brown drops from 55 grams to 40, losing 15 grams, which is 27% of its total force over the course of the bump. This is one of 2 metrics by which I normally gauge tactility in my reviews, the other being sharpness, which determines over what distance that force is lost. Rough switches, like again MX Brown, lose it over longer distances, about 1 mm in this case, while sharply tactile switches like buckling springs lose it over almost no distance at all, giving rise to a crisper, cleaner key feel. The most extreme example of this is an unknown Alps clone, ironically also very red, that was measured to lose as much as 90% of its force in the space of a small fraction of a millimeter, which makes this the most tactile switch I've ever tried, and indeed it's virtually impossible not to immediately bottom out on these things. For reference, even Zeal clickies, the lightweight ones, are only between half and 2/3 tactile, and even those are already completely bonkers. So when I heard 100% tactile, I thought it was going to feel like a light switch or something, so I was very intrigued indeed. But as it turns out, 100% tactile to them means that the tactile bump takes up 100% of the key travel. In other words, it's perfectly unsharp and smeared out as much as they could. Presumably to make this possible, they also shortened the key travel to 3 millimeters. This sort of deliberately elongated tactility is generally referred to as rounded because the force curve looks like it's partly circular, similar to two-fer, and is fairly uncommon for non-rubber based key switches. Unlike two-fer though, the uptake is very sharp and the tactility actually feels very high up for me. The whole entire travel bump is in no way apparent to me at all. It just feels like a tactile switch with a very short travel, if I'm honest. Now, the switch loses about 30% of its total force over the course of the bump, but interestingly enough, it feels significantly more tactile than, for example, MX Brown, as well as having much cleaner tactility, despite having a similar relative tactility of about 30% and possessing no sharpness of any kind. Because these switches do actually feel significantly tactile. If anything, they're not as gentle on the fingers as the rounded bump would lead you to believe. Bizarrely, they actually feel much snappier than Alps SKCM Neon Green as well, which are another rare instance of a rounded switch. And although these have again a roughly 30% force drop, it's over a shorter distance of only 2.5 millimeters, or roughly 70% of the total key travel. So this should feel sharper, but it doesn't at all. These switches feel much more like the bump takes up the whole switch, whereas the switch where this is supposed to be the case feels much sharper. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I suspect they achieved this tactility with the double-staged spring in here, combined with a perhaps somewhat changed tactile notch in the slider, and then they shortened the travel to the length that they managed to draw the bump to, because the rest of the parts appear to be unchanged. Perhaps the contact leaves were subtly modified as well, though I kind of doubt that, to be honest. So, what do I think of them? Well, I'd say they're actually quite nice. They feel much stiffer than their 60-gram max force would suggest. This is a common point in rounded switches for obvious reasons, but the tactility is much snappier, or perhaps I should say more effective than you would think. I kind of like them, though like I said earlier, I do find them a little bit punishing on the fingers after long times of using them. That said, I've been using this board for quite a few weeks, and it was rather pleasant to use. So, if you're after a switch that feels like the bump takes up the whole travel, this isn't it. Get Neon Green Alps instead. That's a joke. These are extremely rare and hard to get. Seriously though, these feel almost like a balm or something when compared to the Type-R switches. If I had to guess what force curve belonged to which switch, I'd have guessed the exact opposite of what's actually the case. Now, it should be noted that the first batch of these switches, which is ages ago, had quality problems and showed a wide variety of issues, including chattering, over-responsiveness, and even ghosting, which is not the rollover thing that companies keep pretending what ghosting means, by the way. It means that it triggers even when not pressed. And while the newer batches have supposedly fixed this issue, I do find that some switches are in a real hair trigger sometimes, and one of the switches does actually display ghosting. I double checked that last thing too, just to make sure. At first it kept randomly outputting right brackets every now and then, usually between 1 and 6 at a time, so then I swapped that switch with the equals key, and now it does the exact same thing with equals sign, so this is a genuinely ghosting switch. It's funny, it's been a long time since I saw that happen in the field. I've read reports of this afflicting about 10% or so of the first batch of switches. Now, this definitely doesn't appear to be the case anymore, so it's certainly improved, but yeah, it's not completely eliminated either. I could swear I've seen chattering in a few cases as well, but not enough to really establish it as certain. I'm not sure what causes these issues, whether they changed something about the contact leaf or maybe they just overlooped the fuck out of them, so it would be interesting to see if the unlooped version, which also exists by the way, has the same issues. These ones have quite a lot of lube between the cheeks in any case, so who knows, maybe it's that. Overall, they're kinda cool switches. Honestly, if you buy a few extras, these should cover any defects you get in these batches, I reckon. It's rare to see a modern, genuinely tactile switch, so despite the unreliability, I understand the demand for these. They're 48 cents a piece from KBD fans, link is in the description below. Anyway, that's going to be it for this review. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.